We often think, why is she so successful while I'm not? But what we fail to realize is this. Her journey and mine are not the same. The Fish That Tried to Fly, a story about comparison and self-worth. One of the greatest struggles in life is the habit of comparing ourselves to others. We look at someone's success and whisper, why not me? But what we fail to realize is this. Their story isn't ours. If a fish spends its whole life wishing to fly like a bird, it will die believing it's a failure, even though it was born to master the ocean. In today's world, this truth has never been harder to remember. We scroll through social media, seeing people's highlight reels, and compare them to our behind the scenes. We forget that what we see is filtered, cropped, and polished. And slowly, comparison becomes a thief that steals our joy, our peace, our purpose. There once was a small village surrounded by a vast green forest. In that village lived a young boy named David, kind, humble, and hardworking. But he carried one heavy burden. He compared himself to everyone. When his classmate John topped the exams, David sighed, if only I were as smart as him. When his neighbor Mark bought a new house, David whispered, if only I had his money. When he saw someone faster, stronger, or more talented, he told himself, why can't I be like that? Every comparison cut a little deeper until his smile faded, his focus broke, and his confidence disappeared. He began to believe he wasn't enough, that maybe he never would be. One quiet evening, an old wise man named Grandpa Thomas came to the village. People said he carried answers within his silence. David approached him with a heavy heart. Grandpa, he said, I try my best, but whenever I see others doing better, I feel small. I feel like I'll never measure up. Grandpa Thomas listened, then said gently, come to the oldest tree in the village tomorrow morning. There, you will find your answer. When the morning sun rose, David arrived. The air was cool and still. The old man pointed at the forest. Tell me, David, what do you see? David looked around. Many trees, tall ones, short ones, some full of fruit, some with none. Grandpa nodded. Now imagine if the apple tree said, why am I not as tall as the oak? Or if the oak complained, why can't I grow sweet apples? Wouldn't that sound foolish? David laughed. Of course, Grandpa. Every tree has its own purpose. Grandpa smiled. Exactly. Each tree adds its beauty to the forest. Together they make it whole. Then Grandpa led him to a quiet pond. The water shimmered with life, fish swimming below, birds soaring above. Look carefully, said Grandpa. What would happen if the fish wished to fly like the bird? David thought for a moment. It would fail, Grandpa. Fish are meant to swim, not fly. Grandpa nodded. Then why do you spend your life wishing to be like someone else? You were born with your own gifts, your own rhythm. Stop trying to fly in someone else's sky and start swimming in your own ocean. Something shifted inside David that day. He realized that comparison was not motivation. It was poison. From that moment, he chose to focus on his own growth. He studied harder, worked quietly, and built his own path, step by step. Years later, David became a successful man, not because he copied others, but because he discovered himself. And whenever people asked, how did you do it? He smiled and said, never compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. If a fish tries to fly, it will always feel like a failure. But if it swims, it can conquer the sea. So remember this, the sun and the moon don't shine at the same time, yet both are equally important. Your path is yours. Walk it your way, because that's where real success begins.